Okay, welcome to the Town of Deerfield Selectboard Board of Health Sewer Commissioners meeting for July 9th, 2025. It is 6:02 p.m. This is a hybrid meeting on Zoom and in the main meeting room at 8 Conway Street, South Deerfield, Mass. This meeting will be held in a hybrid fashion with the opportunity for both in-person attendance and remote participation. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting or hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. The meeting will be held in person in the main meeting room of the Deerfield Municipal Offices in accordance with the Mass General Law, Chapter 30A. Anyone intending to record the meeting must identify themselves to the clerk and provide their name and address for the record. I'll call the meeting to order. We have public comment. If anybody would like to make any public comment on anything on the agenda or off the agenda, 2 minutes. Anybody online? No, I can't tell.
I don't see anybody there.
It says sign in. Are we even online today? We are online?
We are, yes.
Okay, all right. Here we have no hearings and appearances.
And Trevor, I would actually just suggest maybe we have Alex do her report real quick.
Oh, of course.
So she's here.
Welcome, Alex.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, so I just wanted to report out a couple things that I've been working on the last couple months, or, our team has.
Okay.
I think the most public and outward facing that you guys were also emailed on is the HEAT grant. So talking about the network geothermal feasibility study that we did.
Yep.
So we are actually doing, I and our consultant, Bureau Happold, will be doing a presentation, just kind of an education session on July 17th at 4:30 on Zoom at the Energy Commission's meeting.
Okay.
So it's really just kind of talking about what geothermal is as far as being a utility, talking about just trying to educate people what it is, why it's useful, what could happen in the future, and just in general, Bureau Happold's going to talk about the feasibility study and the results being that, in general, a networked geothermal, a system servicing South Deerfield didn't make sense. The upfront capital costs to run the lines to all the buildings because of the distances of between different structures in town. It just has a really high upfront capital cost and it didn't pencil out. But you could still do it at your own house, much like people have their own furnace or their own heat pumps or whatever heating and cooling systems they have. You can also have your own in-home network or geothermal, energy system. Yeah. So it's really an education event to just kind of help people understand what it is, why it's an option. It's part of decarbonization, meets some of the climate goals at the state level. And so it's really about that, and then asking folks to take our survey. So maybe as the technology develops in the future, maybe it becomes more feasible as costs go down, the piping goes down, it just really depends. So mostly education, taking a survey, and then incorporating some of the things he'd identified regarding our local regulations into that report and stuff, but pretty minor. And then we'll be closing out the grant thereafter.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's see. Next one, I think just to let you guys know, the planning board met on Monday, and we had FERCOG, we had Megan Rhodes, who's one of their housing specialists, come in, mostly when we're talking about the ADU bylaw update. So the state changed their regulations that became effective in February regarding accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, sorry. Yep. So just kind of updating our bylaws, which honestly, we'll pretty much have to scrap like a page and a half of the ADU bylaws. They talk a lot about special permits, and you're not allowed to require a special permit. Correct. They talk about the process for that, transferring of the ADU permit to different owners as the property changes hands. Just a lot of stuff that just is no longer allowable, and the ADU bylaw by the state is in the Dover amendment section of the legislation. So puts a few other constraints on what you're allowed or not allowed to regulate, essentially, at the local level.
We had tried to get ahead of that a little bit, or
Yeah.
not we, but the town and
Right.
planning board and all had done
Right.
good work,
Yeah.
but then kind of got upended, so.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
and we decided FERCog's going to do a study of our lot dimensions and our setbacks and our
Yes.
use table, because it's going to require some edits to that for the ADU bylaw anyway.
Okay.
So as we're touching the setbacks, we might as well look at it, especially in the town center where
Yes.
you pretty much have to have a minimum 15,000, I think, square foot lot to do anything, and
That's
most
crazy.
of them don't conform to that anyway.
Right.
So anyway, there'll be that study will go on over the next couple of months, so we really won't have anything probably this summer. It'll probably be later this fall.
Okay.
And then we'll start really looking at what the regulation changes will be. But I think the board was tending towards just adopting the model ADU bylaw from the state for the most part.
Okay.
Mostly definitions and what they require. There'll be
Yeah.
a few decision points and the size of the ADU and that. But
Okay.
like I said, it's Dover amendment, so we can't
Really change
do
much.
too much prescriptive local regulations on
Right.
it. So we'll have to edge that or toe that carefully.
Okay.
I think the other fun thing I would just add quick is that I'm working with the Cultural Commission. So Emily, the chair, and I are working together. We're going to meet at their August meeting and talk about running a grant opportunity to paint the utility cabinets at the Leary lot. So
Oh, cool.
they're going to run it probably in tandem with their normal Cultural Council grant application. And so just kind of
Yeah.
like a fun, cool project. I already ran it by Eaton, who, serviced and brought us it. And
Yeah.
their constraints were don't cover the fence and,
Right.
like
Obvious
use,
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty basic. And they wanted a picture. So,
Yeah.
they were all for it.
Good.
So I think those are probably the most important things. And then just working with some of the applicants and abutters, some folks interested in coming to town and going before the boards, planning and zoning. So there's been
Yeah.
a lot of resident engagement, and
Yes.
new business engagement the last few weeks. So
Good.
yeah, I think that's
Thank you.
about it.
That's great.
Thank you,
Well,
Alex.
thanks for your work.
Thanks.
It's really good to see you.
Likewise.
Select board reports and announcements. Do you want to hit on John? I think.
Sure. So I'm
Sad news.
not sure how many of you may know that John Nove passed away on July 1st. He's the director of our Deerfield Historical Commission. Been about a 15-year resident of South Deerfield. He'd had a long illness. Even still, I'd seen him not too many weeks ago in the town hall. And, we're obviously going to miss him. He was an integral part of a lot of the community preservation activities that we undertook. And we have our Civil War soldier in the back
Yeah.
of the room. He was instrumental in preserving that, and also the pedestal that's still down in the town common area in Old Deerfield.
Mhm.
Gentleman, always very cordial, great historical resource,
Yeah.
and just sad loss to the town.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. That came as a shock to me. I did not know that, but Wendy had messaged me today, Foxman, and had told me the news. So I know John was he cared so deeply about this community and cared about preserving the historical aspects, and just with a kind heart always, and trying to get people involved and get them excited about protecting the historical value of the town. So we'll miss him greatly.
I think that
Go ahead, please.
with John, I met him a couple of times since I've been in here, and I had questions on some of the historical parts of the town. Very knowledgeable, and if he didn't have the answer, he'd go get it for you.
Mm.
And again, one of those things where he's just a gentleman, very nice person to talk to, and
Yeah.
easy to be able to communicate with. So he will be sorely missed.
Thank you. Do you have any other things you want to hit on? Or?
No, I'm okay for now.
I'll just talk a little bit about, I just did a quick tour of the 112 Amherst Road, which is the old Warner Brothers building, or currently Allstate's is leasing it, but it's owned by Delta Sand and Gravel. We're entertaining that as a possible spot for our, putting the senior center under one roof, but just in the very early stages of looking at it and talking with about a lease and, you know, could it work? How big is it? What would need to be done? So early stuff there, but it is a kind of a promising space, so that was good. Had a meeting last night at the South County Senior Center about the space, and then also about our intermunicipal agreement, kind of updating that. So that seems to be, I don't know if that's on the agenda later or not. I think it is, yeah. Okay, so we'll hit that later on. And then I guess I would say a couple of words about the flooding out in Texas. It's not related here, but man, did it bring back a couple of years ago when, you know, we got 8 inches in a couple of hours, and how quickly that could happen here on the Deerfield River. And Carolyn is in the back of my mind going like, you know, think about flooding, think about plans, and is absolutely right. We just need to always kind of keep that in the forefront because it can happen in the middle of the night, and how devastating, and my heart goes out to those families and that community, those communities, just how quickly that can change. And we all think it won't happen here, but it certainly can, as we know all too well. And I think other than that, trying to stay cool from the heat, because it's been brutal. So is there any items on the Board of Health, Select Board? Board of Health?
No, you know, so this is generally the Wednesday that Ned's actually on the Beckett Board of Health, so
That's
he
right.
can't make it. But
That's right.
I did speak with him earlier this week, and he didn't have any issues at this time to report
Okay.
to the board.
Good.
I spoke with him briefly today about the new deli,
Yeah.
International Deli, and he's generally pleased with the renovations that have been done, but they're working on a couple of things that he's certain will be resolved.
Great. That's great.
It
No, I'm
actually looks
glad.
different inside there. I
it?
actually drove by and looked in,
Yeah,
and it's totally different, and it's
Great.
very, very good looking in there now.
that's great. Well, it's nice to see that, yeah.
And now we just got to get Matthew to switch out the BBA Deli sign, because
Yeah.
it still says that.
It says BBA Deli. Yep. So I would just mention for you guys, I just forwarded on an invite for the for a COG and the Franklin County Select Board's kind of 5th Wednesday is coming up on the 30th of July, if you want to attend for a COG, just to get
Yeah, we
together.
got that.
Okay, great.
Very
That
important.
was the only thing I mentioned. So we have some minutes to go over. Let me just look at those real quick if I can, because I hadn't had a chance. It's been a busy day. That's pretty straightforward. Right.
Trying to decipher that? Yeah, no, basically. I can do my best to try to find out. I have no idea.
Okay. Right. Put that trauma behind us.
19, 18 months.
Yeah.
So, what is there? I thought I saw one.
There's
That's
just
the
two.
9th. Yeah, it says 2, but there, oh, okay, there's 2, because it's,
Is it-
one was open and one was not.
Right.
One
Correct,
was
yeah, you
executive.
should have an open session from June 9th,
And it,
an open session on the 25th, and an executive session also on the
Yep.
25th.
okay. So, make a motion to approve the minutes of June 9th, 2025, and June 25th, 2025, and then also a motion to approve the executive session minutes from June 25th, 2025.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchi, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. So we have discussion items, some painting quotes for this building and the 1821 Meeting House steeple exterior. I read this email, but just wanted to kind of go through it. It seemed like it was, at least for this building, we'd kind of decide, what we're going to do with the building. Is it worth painting and that kind of thing? And I feel like it's important to keep, because it takes, I've been here 10 years and it feels like this, but it makes sense to kind of maintain what you have still. And I feel like this was painting the fascia. So, we had a couple of bids to look at painting the this building and the church steeple area. And for Town Hall, it was really doing the fascias here, which was like $11,350. And it was kind of this front area here, and I think the windows as well along this area, if I remember right. Prevailing wage. I know there was another email that kind of talked about those sections, if I remember right. Oh, yeah, Town Hall, scraping and full priming.
Right.
With Mad Dog Primer, fill the holes and cracks, 2 coats of paint, finish paint on siding, soffit, fascia, windows, and gables. So, and then to do the ramp and decks as well. So that seems like good to do, but your thoughts?
Chris, were you going to get some other bids on that?
Well, so because we didn't advertise, we're just going to get 2 more quotes from state contract vendors. It's unlikely that they're going to be lower than that. That's a pretty good price.
That's a very good
And
price.
as John mentioned in his email, that reflects prevailing wage. So
I think we ought to look into this a little bit more because, again, they want to paint the steeple, and I know that
Second
Paul-
item.
You're mixing things.
Yes, just going to do the first one is this,
Yeah.
is just this building here
Right.
first.
Okay.
And then we'll talk
okay
about
with
the
that.
state.
All right.
Yeah, we'll talk about the steeple after for sure.
But you're going to get 2 more bids for just,
yeah, just 2 more quotes for just that.
Compliance and-
Correct.
Yeah.
right. And
Okay.
so it doesn't include the police
Correct.
building. That's been done more recently than
Yes.
this part, so.
It was just this.
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
I had walked with the painter in Cheapachark
Oh,
when
good,
we
thank you.
inspected the building, and particularly the
Gables.
exterior trim here and on this side they're the worst part.
Yeah,
So it's definitely worth getting those looked at.
yep.
So we'll get 2 new bids, and we'll revisit this at a future meeting.
Yeah, we're just over the next couple of weeks. We're
Okay.
going to get a couple more quotes.
Yeah, and we had money, I think it was 4 years ago or something.
Yeah, it's
we
about $50,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
set aside for that. And then the other item is the steeple. So that was, we'd still need to rent a lift to do that. And I think I've been really, like, if we're going to keep that building, we really need to get paint on that steeple and replace the boards and with AZEK or Burrell or something that's not going to rot out. But yeah, I think it's important.
Paul is interested in.
Oh, please, come on up, Paul. Please come on up, have a seat. State for the people who you are and all.
Paul Wachowski, 154 North Main.
Welcome.
So the whole thing with the steeple, working with Sean Kane with the clock last fall,
Yep.
I asked who in the valley in New England does this kind of work.
Yeah,
Because they're really, they're steeplejacks. I mean,
correct.
so we found this valley restorer who Sean highly recommended. Paul, I can't say his last name, so I'm not going to assassinate it like my name. And I've been in contact with him, and I sent Greg the information on this valley restoration. And they're basically, they go up and down Vermont, New Hampshire, they do fire towers, they do everything vertical and have no problems with it. So he drove by maybe about a month ago. He was coming down from a work up in Vermont.
Yeah.
And he eyeballed it and he says, well, we're looking anywhere from $75,000 to $100,000.
Yeah.
Now, as a member of the church, back in the day, we looked at that for years, and it's quite a daunting task
Right.
financially and just having it done in
Yeah.
the people. So I talked to Paul a little while ago before I went away last week. So the middle of June, I met him, and he came. He was coming down from a job up in Vermont, and for about 15 minutes, he went up. He says, I need to need the frame.
Yes.
I need to see the timbers, what I'm dealing with, because it's more than likely there's going to obviously be some work.
Yes.
And so he did come and look. So I'm waiting for him. This is his busy season. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more of a, and it's not a bid. I mean, if we were to do the bid, obviously we would go through it much like
Yeah.
I did in the industrial
Just the
park.
ballpark.
We would do the bidding,
Yeah.
follow the letter of the law.
Right.
But at least you'd have a tangible amount to work with.
Yeah.
Be it the finance committee, you guys, you'd know what you're looking at.
Right.
So that's where we stand. We're beyond just slapping a coat of paint on it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Agreed. Agreed.
It's
If you're gonna
beyond
keep
that.
it-
I mean, it's fine. You go up there. There's work that has to be done.
Right. It needs to be done right.
It needs to be done. It needs to be done right with
Yeah.
the people with the right equipment. So
Agreed.
I just want to let
So
you
we'll
know.
Pause a little bit and wait for
Yeah.
more data.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. That's
So,
very
I just-
helpful.
I'm still wondering, though, we ought to paint the front of it, because that doesn't have anything to do with the steeple.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right,
Just
I
the front
mean-
of the
Oh,
church.
yeah.
What-
I mean,
We could do the front of the church.
Yeah,
Just
I think,
don't do
I think
steeple,
that,
do the steeple
I agree with you, Paul, that there's an engineering component to this, which is
there
just-
is. There is.
We know that there's been some compression in the wood timbers.
Yeah.
That was diagnosed by Northeast Structures.
Yeah. There
When they
is.
were looking at the roof problem.
Right.
And the question that I think Trevor brought up was, if we don't paint the wood that's there
Right.
and let it continue to deteriorate,
Right.
we're going to have even more problems when we straighten the steeple.
Right.
So we'll be interested to see what your
Yeah,
I mean, there's
come
more.
up with
There's. I'm sure there's wood that's pooked. And
Yes,
it's going to get fixed. I
exactly.
mean, clapboards.
Right.
Absolutely.
The
The church next to my work on Main Street just did their steeple last year. I think it was last fall. And I know Sunderland just did theirs recently, too. But so it would be interesting to see what they say. And
Now, I
That's
know
good.
my good friend who's on the Bernardson Select Board, who I've known a long time, over 20 years. They've got their church up there, and I told him about it when I saw him. I had an eyeball quote,
Yeah.
and I said 75 to 100,000. He says that's about what they're dealing with
that's
up there.
what they're dealing with, too. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a clock up there or not, but
Yeah.
there's work that has to be done, and
For sure.
so
Okay.
it's not out of the realm. So
Well, that's great to know. Thank you for giving us that feedback
Okay.
and looking into it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I guess, did we have a number for just the front of that church?
We did, and it's 7,200.
Right.
So you could go ahead and have Fortin do that, and we wouldn't need to get additional quotes on that.
Right. That
I think that's a good idea.
feels like a good idea, just
think
to
that's a
kind of
good
get a
idea.
coat of paint fresh. I mean, I don't know if it's going to get washed first or not. I mean, I guess it's probably a lot of dust on that thing.
Well, they'd have to scrape it and
Yeah,
everything. I mean,
and do all that.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
got to
great.
prep. Yeah.
All right.
So
I would entertain a motion to approve the front of the church at $7,200 at this moment.
I move we accept the offer to paint the front of the church for $7,200.
And then you'll look at we can come back for the front of this building later,
Right,
too.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
sure, second.
Yep. Great. Any further discussion? Oh, I guess my discussion would be color. Or is it just going to be white, or is there I mean, I don't want to open up a can of worms, right? Everyone's going to look at me like, you're going to what? You're going to what?
Well,
But
this-
I mean, there
the-
is like a historic kind of, you can do some nice,
Was the
Does it
front of
just
that
need to
church
be a
ever
bright
painted
white?
a different color than white?
do we know? Any colors?
No, if you go back in the pictures, it's always been white. No.
But there's 100 whites.
Pearl white?
Holy white, there you
Pearl
go.
white.
Chastity.
All right, I'm not getting into it. I just think it's a nice opportunity to kind of look at it and say, do we want a nice little cream in there? Yes, absolutely.
I think actually, when we were kids, when I got a confirmation picture back in 1970, I think the doors were gray, like a battleship.
Oh, well, maybe
Great.
before we paint the doors, we should just look.
You'll find a layer of paint.
Yeah.
You'll probably find residue.
I know, I think anything will look good. I'm
Go
just
down.
thinking it's always nice to kind of dress stuff up a little bit.
Go down to the first layer and do that one.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever it was originally.
12 coats later.
We can't get a picture because it's all black and white. Okay, so did we all in favor of that? Yeah, I guess we, all those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Thank you very much. All right. I'm going to hold just one. Notice of award for the 1888 building project contract to WJ Mountford, Inc. in the amount of $933,000. Want to talk about that a little bit? Are we sure we got the money? I mean, it's been a rough.
Sure, yeah, and this is just, notice of award that would go to WJ. Their bid they've been holding it since June 6th, so it
Yep.
has been a while.
Yep.
We're still talking with them about, the contract, and then obviously USDA is currently in their final phase of review of all the contract documents and the
Great.
bid specs.
So just awarding it to them and. we
Correct.
can
So
do a
likely,
contract.
hopefully in the next 2 weeks, then we would actually have contracts drawn up for both WJ Mountford and for USDA, so the grant funds.
Great. So I move the Select Board accept the recommendations of the 1888 Building Advisory Committee and accept the bid of WJ Mountford, Inc. in the amount of $5,933,000 for the 1888 Building Town Hall Addition Renovation Project.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. So we'll wait to see a contract on that. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, and there is a form that needs to be completed just with a signature.
In here. Thank you.
A lot of blank spaces there.
Yeah, I didn't even say who it's to. It's the notice of award, so
Who's the owner?
it doesn't say. I can buy anything with this sucker. No, so it's just the.
I can print out an updated copy if you want, because
I'm fi-
there should
I'm
be a
fine.
copy with.
Yeah, it's all here, so. It's like Greg's buying it.
Do we all three sign it?
Yeah,
There's
no,
just
this,
one line.
yeah, there's just one line, so I'll just sign
Okay,
here.
that's it. Sign your life away.
There you go. Owner by would be the next one.
Yeah, like I said, we'll take care of that stuff.
Fine, I'll just leave my signature. Sounds good. All right. Then we've got the Bloody Brook MVP Action Grant and Sugarloaf Brook MVP Seed Grant, GZA change order, number 1.
Yep, and this is a pretty straightforward one. So, Greg has been working with GZA as well as Chris Curtis and Wayne Fiden on the Bloody Brook and Sugarloaf Brook projects funded by these MVP grants. And thanks to his good work and persistence, he was able to get an extension on those grants. So now all of our contractors will have until next June to complete those projects, which is great because we've still got a couple public information sessions we're hoping to hold as part of those. And we just recently got, I believe, the geomorphic assessment, which would mean a lot more to Carolyn than to me. But
Yes, it would.
it is an important piece of the puzzle here. So, so fortunately, this change order is just going to memorialize essentially that extension of the grant project.
Okay, I move the Select Board approve the change order for the contract with GCA Geo Environmental Inc. for the Bloody Brook Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Action Grant and Sugarloaf Brook Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Seed Grant to extend the project to June 30th, 2026.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. And
Sign it.
just the chair to sign, is that
I
it?
think so.
Okay. Okay. Next item is the HERO Act. Discussion to adopt new exemptions for veterans. Exemptions will need to be approved by town meeting. So I know we talked about this the other day. There is currently a HEROES Act, correct? Or an exemption right now.
Kind of read that way.
Yeah, and I think, let me just read this. Deerfield to consider new tax relief measures for veterans under the Massachusetts HERO Act, pending approval at special town meeting in the fall of 2025. The town of Deerfield is proposing to expand its support for local veterans through the adoption of new provisions outlining the Massachusetts HERO Act, Chapter 178, the Acts of 2024, signed into law by Governor Maura Healey. The HERO Act enhances benefits and services for veterans across the Commonwealth. Two key property tax exemption updates. Clause 211I and, clauses 22I and 22J will appear as warrant articles at special town meeting. These changes will only take effect if approved by voters during annual town meeting. What the HERO Act could mean for Deerfield's veterans. Proposed expansion of property tax exemptions. Deerfield already offers a range of veteran property tax exemptions. If clauses 22I and 22J are adopted, 22I, if accepted, would increase the amount of the tax exemption granted to disabled veterans on their domiciles annually by a cost of living adjustment, a COLA, determined by the Department of Revenue based on the Consumer Price Index. For FY25, using a 2% CPI example, the town's increased liability would be approximately $58. This applies to all veterans with a disability rating of 10% or more. Is that true? $58?
Yeah. So what you're looking at is an example of what we would send out to the town. It's just it's not anything written in stone right now. What you're really looking at is there's two exemptions that you could potentially recommend to the town to vote on, which would be the COLA, which if you look at the spreadsheet a little later, you'll see which Karen did a nice job sort of just putting that together. It just shows, there $58 would be added to the exemption, and it shows you how it would play out over the coming years at 2%. Could be 3%, whatever COLA comes in at through CPI. So that's just a ballpark.
Okay.
And then the other exemption would be you can recommend up to a percentage, up to 100% increase. And so just looking at other towns, we've had some select boards, like for instance in, I think it was Belchertown, they're considering a 20% increase. And so you can see that if you add the 20%, what that would look like in terms of the taxes, in terms of the town. You can also see what the reimbursement from the state is. So, it's not a lot, but it is, not a little either. So,
And that's per person, correct? It's not a total.
Well, you're looking at the rate is the top one. So you're seeing, where you're seeing the increase on
a COLA.
the COLA.
Was
So
like-
that's a rate increase, and then
Right.
you see the 20% is where it says the plus 20. So I don't have it in front of me, but you're basically looking at, I think it was about $7,000 difference, I think. So the question is, do we want to support the veterans in this way? Any increase in the percentage does not get reimbursed by the state. So that's why we sort of put that in there, so you could sort of see what, you still get the initial reimbursements, but you won't get the extra. So it's just kind of a way for local local towns to support their veterans a little bit in and above what's already being done.
Yeah.
So just so I understand Clause 22J, is this saying that Deerfield already gives a 20%?
No, would be if you want to recommend this as a board to the town, you could say you could recommend 10%, which would be a lower. This is just an example of what
Right.
some other towns have done.
What are they getting now?
Well, they're not.
They're
So
getting
this would
No.
be in and above. So they're not getting necessarily getting the COLA, which has to be appropriated by town and voted by town.
Correct.
They are also not getting a percentage increase. So this would be above
But
what's
they're-
already being done.
But they are getting a
Yes.
tax credit.
Yes, they
Already.
do get an exemption. And at this point, I think it's 400. Is that correct? Yeah.
I mean, for me, I would really just want to have a meeting with Finance Committee and just
Sure.
kind of talk about it.
Yeah, it's more just to get your sort of wheels
Yep, thinking about
thinking
it.
about it,
Yep.
and what would be at a percentage rate that you think would be acceptable to the town, if any.
Yep,
I think COLA, there's a pretty strong case to make for that.
sure.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
yep, okay, great. Thank
Yeah.
you for that. Yeah, we'll go through that, and I'd love to talk to Finance about that.
I don't know if we're planning to have a joint finance select board meeting on Monday to handle year-end transfers. I think
Oh,
this year it's looking like they're only going to be reserve fund transfers, so that could potentially be handled just by the finance committee on their own.
yeah.
But if we do end up with a joint, that might be an opportunity to
Yeah,
discuss this further.
That'd be great.
And just one thing to add, it may, I was thinking it has to happen at a town meeting, but it may have to actually happen at an annual town meeting in the spring when the budget is happening.
I
So
think so, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, thank you. All right. So South County Senior Center intermunicipal agreement amendments, but I think we're waiting for council, right? I think we're waiting for,
Yeah, and I had this on the agenda in case we did get that back, but
We
it
haven't
sounds
got
like
it
we
back
haven't yet.
yep.
So
Then the Personnel Board manual amendment adoption. This, I think we were looking at this as a first read last time, correct? And then, let's bump over that thing. It was the attendance and the vacation leave, right?
correct. Yep.
So we're looking at, can we just hit on the major changes for vacation?
Yeah, and vacation is more straightforward. It's just a tweak, essentially, granting, the town administration some flexibility when negotiating with new hires for additional vacation time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've been speaking with the personnel board about our overall vacation policy. It's challenging because obviously it's kind of built around a model where you would start at the ground floor and you would work here for 30 years and you would end up.
Doesn't happen anymore.
And it doesn't really work that way anymore. So we do often run into the challenge of wanting to hire a mid-career professional, and we can't just offer them 2 weeks vacation because
And
they
they-
won't accept. So.
Right, and they've been coming from a place with multiple weeks already.
Right. Or Yeah, or they
Or
yeah
months.
they say they're not going to start for several months because they want to get some more vacation time in. So it's it creates challenges, and we've been discussing it with the personnel board and what our options might be. In the short term, it seemed like a reasonable way to allow some flexibility when we've got new hires who have needs that just aren't met by our current vacation policy.
So this chart here is kind of what the average would be, and then you'd have some flexibility depending on who you came across.
Yeah, so this is the chart you see. Pretty much everything you see there is just our current personnel
Current
manual,
personnel.
and
And
that
one section is highlighted. is what
Exactly,
changed.
yep.
Okay, got it. All right, I'm good with that. The attendance, this is fairly new, correct?
So the attendance policy was something that was developed by Casey with the personnel board. I think maybe it was my first personnel board meeting. They actually ended up voting it. They had gotten it to a place where they were satisfied with it, and so I'm transmitting their recommendation to the board here.
This is, I can think, where I said, why are we not using like ADP or something, right?
Right.
Not to upend the whole apple cart, but timesheets are just going by the wayside. But I guess that can always be amended.
Yeah, and it does include some flexibility. It mentions by department. So certainly I've run into this where for exempt employees it often doesn't really matter to me when if you clocked in at this time or clocked out at this time. You're often working a little bit on the weekends or after
Late night
hours.
meetings.
So that kind of timesheet is just going to look different, and recording those hours is going to just not be as meaningful. So,
Right.
Potentially it just means, that in order to comply with this, you have slightly different, timesheets for different departments, because there are some positions here where it is more of a clock in, clock out situation.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. Okay, the inclement weather makes sense. Yep. Okay, I'm good with both of these. So pursuant to Chapter 35, Section 7D, the Town of Deerfield bylaws, I move the Select Board amend the Deerfield Personnel Manual to include the attendance policy changes and changes to the vacation policy as recommended by the Personnel Board effective July 1st, 2025.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, were we looking at 20 years on vacation time? I thought we brought that up once before, going up another week. For an employee that has 20 years with the town.
What do they have now? 4?
We have 4 weeks, right?
I think so. After 10.
That's what you max out as 4.
Mm. Well, we'd have to send it back to, I think we could approve this and then
Yeah, and
request it.
and like I mentioned earlier, we have been talking to the personnel board about just the overall policy and, what we could do to make it more competitive and fair, et cetera.
Yeah. Okay,
All right,
Yep.
if we can do that, let's
for sure.
pass it.
Approve it. Okay. All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. These are both the same, the codification of vacation negotiations and tenants policy, right? That's all
Mhm.
same thing. So appointments, we have, Gretchen Bieski's looking to serve on the Tri-Town Beach Commission. That's great. We have a motion here somewhere. Let's see, we don't have any other applicants, correct, for that position? For Gretchen, right? There's no
Correct.
other
At this
applicants for
time, we do
Tri-Town,
not.
so that's wonderful to hear. So I move the Select Board appoint Gretchen Bieski to the Tri-Town Beach Commission for the term of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, in accordance with the recommendations of Patty Telega, Chair of said commission.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hill, GI.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Thank you. Thank you for serving, Gretchen. Really appreciate that. Happy to have you. So, Mary Raymond, school committee representative, appointment to the CIPC to replace Carrie Etchels, who was appointed on June 25th, 2025 by mistake, clerical error. Gotcha. Okay. So, Mary Raymond is there. So, let's see. Okay, pursuant to Chapter 10, Article 6, Section 15 of the Town of Deerfield bylaws, I move the Select Board appoint Mary Raymond as the school committee representative to the Capital Improvement Planning Committee for the term of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim
Trevor
Hill, GI.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Thank you. What else we got? SCEMS, I guess we didn't, we did John Novay already, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Had we, let me pull this out. Had we appointed, well, I don't think we appointed anybody from SCEMS, correct?
No, but I guess we have a meeting next week. Or, in theory, we do.
Oh, okay. So we need to.
I'm not sure what date's been set yet.
I think
Yeah, I
the
think-
last one it was the 15th, the one you were requesting, right?
Yeah, Tuesday was what I,
Yeah, that's what I think they got it down
Did
for
they-
that, and it's supposed to be here.
A meeting here?
okay, it's Tuesday.
Just trying to think of any of the others we have or haven't done. And you still want to do the fiscal agent, Blake?
Yeah, I'll stay on as that.
And Tim, you still want to be a rep?
Yeah, I'm happy to serve.
Okay.
Um,
Can I see Matt in the audience? You still want to serve? A thumbs up? Any discussion on any of those?
You know, in general, I think it's time that we take a look at the underlying agreement about SCEMS and codify some things.
It's been 10 years. I think,
Yeah, I mean,
just like we
I
did.
think that there should be a rolling chair every year like we do on the Select Board. Each town should have 1 year in that slot. I think we meet far too frequently.
Mhm.
I think it would be good to specify, you know, what is the booze goal and purpose.
Mhm.
So I'm in favor of trying to, you know, have the town administrators talk about this, you know, and have the boo talk about, you know, updating this agreement.
It's
I
been,
don't know that it needs to be totally rewritten or anything,
of
but
course.
and, you know, I am perfectly happy to turn over my participation to someone else. I think that it would be nice to have more turnover in the board of oversight than has it to this date occurred. Most of the people on the BOO used to work there as an EMT at some point, and I think Fred Barron and I are the only ones who haven't.
Right.
And I think it's a little too representative of people who used to be there, and I think that sometimes that causes the BOO to, get too involved in things that they don't necessarily need to be involved in. But that's just me. That's, after 2.5 years on the BOO, I'd like to see, an opportunity for regular change out.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so that's just my thoughts.
Well, I think that's a good goal for the BOO to look at this year. I think I do, as we're doing with the South County Senior Center municipal agreement, it's been 10 years, I think, when I first was elected. We had quite a bit of change in the SCEMS, and we were trying to figure out where to get a home and all that stuff, and kind of we came in, I think it got select board heavy by all of us kind of coming on to that board, and then I think once the space was sorted out, I kind of stepped away, and I miss that board tremendously. I really think the world of SCEMS, and I love to see the way the growth it has going forward, and the way they protect our residents and save lives is amazing. But it is important to kind of look at it yearly, it's been several years now, is to look at the agreement. I think, it makes sense to have a rolling chair. Some of the stuff that maybe have gotten stagnant over the years for no reason other than just habit. It's good to revisit, kind of decide, how many meetings do we need to do? What's the general goals? It's always good for an organization to refresh their goals and look at leadership and how the turnover should be and all of that. So I would encourage the BOO to do that, so that, maybe by next year we could have maybe a fresh signing of the agreement again, and have some growth. It's always good to reevaluate where you're at, what you're doing. So, any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that with some of the things that have been going on with the BOO that I've seen over the last year, there definitely needs to be some reorganization, and to just see what the BOO's goals are and where they're coming from. And again, we need to have more specific, not specific, but more guidelines instead of specifics, and work with those, but to stay in line with those guidelines, and not to be changing them as we go either. So there's a lot of work to be done, and I think that we can, as the BOO gets going. I mean, I'm not a voting member, but they're very open to me making suggestions and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I thought that's worked out well, and I think that's something that we can
The agreement?
expand upon, and it's even with you, Trevor, as far as getting on board with some of the things that maybe we need to do to revisit.
Yeah.
Not like, I don't think that we need to completely revamp, like Tim says,
No.
but we just need to tweak it and get it back into a more of a normal running routine.
Freshen
Yeah, I
things
mean,
up.
it may be that there's almost nothing that needs to be changed, but
It's
it
built
just,
as a good department.
yeah, it just, it's useful to re-examine a 10-year plus old agreement
Yep, for sure.
to make sure it's meeting all the goals and objectives of all the member towns. We are talking about, we've had, some more of the intercept has become more of a thing that the agency does. It's led to some revenue increases, et cetera, and, just makes sense to see if there's anything that's outdated, or anything that we're doing now that needs to be memorialized. So,
Okay.
but ultimately, as long as the BOO starts talking about it,
Yeah.
And
We'll get rolling.
pulling in the necessary people to see whether it's necessary,
Mhm.
and if so, what changes or additions need to be made.
Sounds good to me. Okay, with that, make a motion to appoint C. Blake Gilmore, double named, fiscal agent, Tim Hilchey, rep to Skems Boo, and Matt Russo as member for 1 year.
Second.
Any further discussion? I owed you a phone call, and I didn't get to it today, but thank you for showing up. Good. All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Thank you very much.
You get Julie on there. I don't know if she wants to talk to us about anything.
I don't know. I think what else do we have?
Down to Chris's stuff, I think.
Oh, yeah, all right. I'm in the wrong book.
Our correspondence.
Wrong darn book.
Was Julie on when we mentioned the meeting on Monday? And
She was not, no.
Oh.
I think she jumped on a little late.
yeah, you want to mention that?
Sure, it's in my report. So,
Oh, great.
So,
Sounds good.
as you may recall, July 15th is normally the last possible day for year-end transfers in municipal government in Massachusetts. I believe we're planning on holding a meeting on July 14th, so that'll be Monday. Still working with Brenda to finalize the agenda for that. But it looks like it's going to be a finance committee meeting at the very least, because they're mostly reserve fund transfers. I haven't identified with Brenda yet if there are any year-end transfers that require select board approval as well. So Julie, I hope you were able to hear that. And we should have something posted tomorrow for that meeting. Other ongoing projects, just wanted to mention landfill solar. So we had a pre-construction meeting with Nexamp on Monday. Myself, Greg, Alex, Matthew, all on site with Nexamp, just to walk the site, talk about, most importantly, access, how their construction vehicles will access things, how, that'll interact with residents when they're using the transfer station. I think we went over this previously, but the plan is for when they are doing major equipment deliveries or anything like that, those will be on the off days. So those will be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just to avoid any kind of tangling up with residents while they're using the transfer station. They are going to be using a fire lane that essentially goes from the current transfer station entrance and then hugs that front fence and goes around to the right, basically, as you're entering. And that'll meet up with a new road that they're going to be constructing at the back of the site. They're coordinating with Matthew on moving a couple concrete blocks. There's a brush pile that needs to be consolidated back there. But then they're going to be able to, build their road back there. So the timeline has extended a bit, as often happens with these things. So they are looking at breaking ground on the road this fall, and then having a actual groundbreaking on the installation of the array in the spring. So that would probably mean it would come online closer to fall 2026. Other quick updates. Stillwater Bridge. Still working with the state to file a couple things, and waiting on the legislature on their end to file the Article 97 bill. We did get an update from MassDOT a couple weeks ago. They've got about $50 million worth of projects held up on these Article 97 issues, so they have been speaking directly with the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs about some kind of broader relief at this point, because it really has become a major challenge for them. And this is even after the legislature updated the law to try to streamline it, make it easier for agencies to do the things they need to do without too severe an environmental or recreational impact. So meeting with council and MassDOT likely next week on that, and then continuing to have conversations with DCR and the Executive Office of Environmental Energy and Environmental Affairs about the actual Article 97 replacement land. So hopefully have more updates on that front soon.
On the solar, did the gigantic, beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous bill cut a lot of incentives for solar,
So,
and
so I did.
I'm just curious how it's affecting us.
I did pose this question to Nexamp's project manager. He said they have zero federal funding involved in that project, so they're
Right.
not impacted by it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then a couple other things I just wanted to mention. So Leary Lot, I think we mentioned maybe 6 months ago, MassDOT had approached the town about some kind of deal where they'd be managing our EV charging. They finally kind of, I guess, talked to all the right people and finally come back around with a proposal. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be meeting with MassDOT about some kind of agreement that would be put in place. Still a lot of details to be worked out, and we need to make sure that whatever it is, it benefits the town, but could potentially look like a scenario where essentially they use one of their vendors who handles, statewide management of these systems, and basically just add the Leary Lot level 3 charging and possibly level 2 charging to that as well. So could just take a little bit of burden off of town staff. I know Greg has been working diligently at it, so more to consider there, but we should be meeting with MassDOT on that.
Yeah, right. We've got our own expert.
And lastly, I just wanted to mention, back at Fall Town meeting, we had talked about putting Pecumtuck Rock and that whole parcel under Article 97 protection. We determined we wanted to get a survey done and kind of delineate where those utilities were and their access roads to make sure that they wouldn't be impacted by any kind of designation of that land as strictly open space and recreation. As you may recall, the Open Space Committee went out, got a grant, hired Berkshire Design Group to actually do the survey work. That survey was completed this summer, and currently we're having town council is just reviewing it to make sure that it kind of meets our needs with respect to any article that we might bring up at either a special or annual town meeting to complete that process. But it's a great piece of work that Berkshire Design did. It's a lot of old deeds referencing the brow of the mountain, and so it's very it's interesting. But just wanted to mention that that's where we're at in that process.
Okay.
And lastly, just any questions on any other projects from the board? Happy to.
I was looking at the Chapter 90 from Matt.
Oh, yes.
Was this just kind of application for some money that he was going to spend?
Yeah, so, and thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so
Sure.
it's kind of unanticipated. Matthew
Yeah.
just sent that over yesterday. So he's been looking at doing a wider pavement management program for the town.
We had one through FERCog, but it was way outdated. It
Yep.
didn't really line up with what the needs ended up being.
Yep. And so he, I think, had tracked down, I know we've had, I think it's Beta Group, which I think we've had
Yes.
do some work for us previously as well.
Yep.
So he's got a quote there. Chapter 90 generally, at the sort of discretion of your Department of Public Works superintendent.
Correct.
And I think he just wanted to, give the select board a heads up.
Yeah.
Since he's not spending it specifically on, patching potholes, so to speak. It's really,
But I would recommend that he take some amount of money and continue to fill potholes, because I just about lost my front tire on Mill Village Road the other day.
What
So,
road?
Mill Village. Yeah, so there's a few spots that
Yeah.
But it was Sunday, and I'm like, I am not texting him on a Sunday about a pothole. But now that this reminds me, I need to tell him.
if he's got an iPhone, you can always schedule send. So you can-
Exactly. I'm going to snap it. And, oh, that's right. I can schedule send.
Well, I'm happy to see that without any intervention on my part, they did fill, the driveway coming out of the temporary library and the entrance to this area, they've patched there, and
Yeah.
I don't know if they patched out in this parking lot, but
They did a little bit up by the dump, too. 'Cause
Yeah.
That always gets, when you're
Yeah.
pulling out, everybody cuts the corner, so your tire goes in. But yeah, there's a few spots that I'll take some photos and send them along. So I'm glad he's managing it, so it's good.
Yeah.
All right. So that's helpful, and hopefully Sherman Drive is high on the list, because it's starting to go.
Isn't that a private road?
No, it's on Chapter 90. All right. Good.
so he's just notifying us that he's doing this.
Yeah.
Correct. He just wanted to kind of give, again, just because it's not the.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
And then I think the only other item unanticipated was an abatement, sewer
Yes,
abatement.
and I don't have, I do know John, he had called me and he told me that he had these leaking things and wanted me to take a look at it. I just hadn't had a chance to get in and get the bills from Sarah yet, so I just need to,
I put
I see
an
the bill,
account. Well, take a look.
but there's no,
There should be an account,
usage.
a usage in, check in your, in
Oh,
that.
in here?
In there, yeah. I just, because I had to go to get it from Sarah today.
oh yeah, here we go. All right.
Yeah, it gives you an idea of what the usage was, and it's gone up considerably.
Yeah. Holy moly, yeah, it did.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow. Yeah, it almost doubled from what it normally is.
I think it's
Uh-huh.
actually quite a bit higher than that. So I think it's because if you're
What
looking
was-
at, if you look at the winter bills,
Yes, and
Right.
those are, yeah, those are a little higher too, but
I mean, it
For a
came in at
previous summer.
5,000 for.
the previous summer bill was this. Oh, let's see, winter bill was this. Oh, I see, his winter bills are
His-
much, even two winter
Yeah.
bills were much higher. We can only abate the current year, though. Yeah, it must have started last year sometime. Okay, so I won't take the time now to do it, but I'll do it, and I'll bring it back to the board to
Okay.
approve an
Yeah,
abatement.
thank you.
Yep, try to get to the bottom of that. Thank you for that data. Any other items?
Any reports on how the quarterly tax payment is being received? Nothing from Sarah yet?
Yeah, you're not, there's not information on the bills, and I talked to Sarah about it, that it will be out in the next bills. In other words, what
It's-
their assessment was, what
Right.
they're
Right.
actually paying and stuff. That was
Correct.
the only thing I was getting out of that.
The first,
Yeah.
the first two are like estimated,
Correct.
and then
based on
the
last
second
year's,
two are
'cause
any adjustment that needs to be made.
I just know they're too high, so whatever it is, they were too high.
Yeah. I will
I've
say,
been told.
I know Sarah did a lot of legwork trying to get the word out,
Yeah.
with stuffers in the last few mailings. So hopefully no one's going to be caught totally unawares.
No, it seems easier to do too. And most are done by the mortgage company anyways. Yep. Do we have any other items to discuss? Any other comment or anything? No? What do you?
The only thing I would mention, we should, we have a,
Accountant tonight, or we're gonna wait?
Oh,
We were
you
gonna-
want to continue working on the, did you?
well, so that's what I was going to ask.
Oh.
We obviously had 2 interviews with town
Yeah,
accountant candidates
Can we take
earlier.
a minute and go through these? I mean, unless you guys, if you have a minute, we could go through these
Sure.
and make a decision. I could, anyways.
Yeah, I've got time.
Okay, let me just go through these real quick. Where did I put them here?
Take mine back.
I didn't get to finish this. Well, it was nice to have 2 very good candidates to look at. Grateful for their applications.
Before we,
Go ahead,
I was just going to say,
please.
did the committee have any sense, the review committee, did they have any sense of their thought? Not that it's, I've got numbers, so I'm just curious if you felt one candidate was.
Well, I think of the 2 candidates we recommended, one of them interviewed much better in the initial interview. Their writing response to the prompt we provided was not as good, however. And then, of course, you know, the earlier candidate we interviewed has a terrific resume in terms of
Yeah.
the experience needed. But, you know, I felt, and I'm not just saying this to get out of it, I feel like we'd be in pretty good hands with either candidate. And, you know, that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
And did you, one other question, did you have any discussion about what, well, I don't know if I'm interested in, you know, Amherst pay salary versus Deerfield salary, and, you know, whether that was, or, you know, the private sector salary versus Deerfield salary.
Yeah, and we know that we can find out the Amherst salary. We can't find out the private sector salary as easily.
Yeah.
No, we didn't really get into that part of it.
They knew what was posted, what the salary would be, though, and the
Correct.
idea that I got out of both of them was they were looking to downsize a little bit. And so I don't think that the salary portion of it is going to be an issue with them. Maybe it is, but.
You know, I was just, yeah, I agree. I think they both were looking for a better work-life balance.
Right.
So, my sense is one is far superior in quality of experience, of the experience that they bring to the table. Yeah, it's an easy choice for me. I would recommend Holly Drake for sure. Just with the amount of stuff we have going on, it is going to be really hard to bring somebody in and try to educate them on all the municipal stuff, and get them up to speed, whereas one has all of that experience already and in spades, I think. So, and really that final question was kind of how do you work with a team and how do you work with us? And I think I got a satisfactory answer to that, because I was concerned, like, oh, well, you know, I have a staff do this and I'm not really, you know, how many meetings do I have to go to? It wasn't really that. It was, I think, you know, it's going to be a culture shock difference, I think, for Holly if she accepts the job. Just coming from that, but I think that's what she's looking for. She's looking for a little bit of a different, more of a hands-on kind of slower pace than a large budget like that with a big council. Just my guess from talking with her, but I think they're both wonderful people, and I think Holly just comes with a wealth of education and knowledge to be able to carry us right through into budget season. And as much as I don't want to lose Brenda, I think it would give her retirement she deserves a lot sooner.
Very true. And we did all feel that, you know, Holly could walk in here day one and she would be ready to do the job just because of her experience. Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Blake?
I went through and did the numbers on the questions, and I came up with Holly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I'm a little biased because I know her family. I haven't seen her in years, so I mean,
Yeah,
it
me
wasn't
either.
like
Right.
you know, as soon as I walked in, I knew who she was.
Yeah.
But
She's great.
she sounded like she was, you know, definitely very proactive. Seems like a team player. Seems like she's, you know, willing. She's there to help, and that's, you know, that's a feeling I got with Brendan. I need that same feeling. Whereas with Kimberly, I think that she would eventually get to that point, but I don't think that she's had the experience that Holly's had. So I would definitely go that route.
And I sort of I liked some of the educational background that Kimberly has, and, you know, UMass grad, and you know, worked for Ernst & Young. I thought that was, you know, a good experience, but she doesn't have the municipal angle. So, you know, I would be in favor of, you know, making a motion to authorize the town administrator to, you know, enter into contract negotiations.
Great.
We know that she wants to give at least a 30-day notice, and so, you know, hopefully we could get her on board mid-August or something
Yep.
if she accepts. So,
I second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Thank you very much, Screening Committee, for giving us two great people to look at. And, yeah, congratulations. I hope you can strike a deal. Please.
Yep.
So, with that, do you need anything else from us? Just let us know, but, yeah. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful night.